Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, from the sunny Caribbean, you are watching What You Need.
Okay, I'm going to break down the Nonito Donaire Cesar Juarez fight and the things that Donaire did well and the things that he didn't do so well. As you can see here, countered Cesar Juarez really nicely there with that left uppercut. So he's trying to counter Cesar Juarez, okay, using the jab to keep distance, right? And there's that nice slip counter. It's not a pull counter, it's a slip counter. He slips to the outside of Juarez's punch, and then he counter punches him with that beautiful overhand right. So Nonito Donaire was doing an excellent job in that respect, and he was maintaining distance. There he is countering him with a left hook to the body, and really a nice strong jab. There it is again, beautiful counter right. He's really trying to take his head off. Then here, catches him with a left hook as he's leaping in. Really good stuff. But after that, Juarez had felt his power, figured out what was going on, because Donaire was pushing him back in that round. And then the tables turned. Juarez decided to start mounting his offense and coming at Nonito Donaire. Donaire, of course, the faster, much more skilled boxer of the two. But Juarez started putting that pressure on Donaire. Notice that Donaire really takes some punishment right here. There you go. Now, some of those punches are missing, but then that overhand right just landed. Beautiful left hook by Donaire. But there's something that's getting out of hand here, and people may start to see this, that Donaire now is not controlling the fight as he was before. And I'll tell you why. The first reason is because Juarez has felt his power, and Donaire keeps on throwing basically the same shots and no real body punching. Now he's just going exclusively to Juarez's head because he dropped him twice. And therefore Juarez starts bringing on the pressure. Juarez is, of course, a lot slower than Donaire. Look at those crisp shots. That left hook to Juarez's head, popped his head back. Nice uppercut. But he's exclusively going to Juarez's head. And if you know Mexican fighters, they have hard heads, man. So Juarez started chasing him down in the sixth and bringing the heat, keeping his guard up. But you can see Donaire is not doing anything to go to the body of Juarez. He's doing a beautiful job of slipping some punches here, but he's not really setting up Juarez for anything, and he's not really in control now. Juarez is actually taking over the control of the fight and the real estate. And using his jab, there Donaire pops a good jab there. But as I said before, one of the key weapons that you need to have is body punching. Mexican fighters, they got hard heads, so you got to go to their body. And one thing Donaire wasn't doing, as you can see clearly here, is he's not going to Juarez's body. Juarez is starting to go to his body and wear him down. Look at his eye too. His eye is busted. While Donaire was countering Juarez with overhand rights and left hooks, he wasn't really stabbing to the pit. And a jab to the pit is a very important jab. And I'm going to show you what that is like. Now, there are two different ways different boxers may do it. They can lead to the side and jab to the pit, stepping in. Or you can do like Floyd Mayweather and completely change levels by literally dropping your stance. So Floyd literally went low to stab here Henry Brussels at super lightweight to the pit. Not only that, but he knew that Henry Brussels was trying to come forward and make a fight of it, and he was hungry. So he timed Henry Brussels. When Henry Brussels was about to come in, that's when Floyd would stab him to the pit, and that would knock Henry Brussels, as you can see there, backwards. Here's another great example of a stab to the pit. And what the stab to the pit does is it doesn't only strike your opponent and keep them from advancing to you, but it also takes some of the air and the stamina out of them, because it's a punch where you actually take your opponent's breath from them. It's a very, very, very good punch. Again, you see Floyd change levels very quickly, very athletically, and stab to the pit, and he's gone. Okay? You can also keep your opponent within range that you want them to be at. Notice that Carlos Baldomir could not counter that punch. Here he is doing it against Marcos Maidana, who is much more wily. So Marcos Maidana very intelligently took a step backwards when Floyd tried to stab him to the pit. Here he is stabbing Andre Berto to the pit. Now, if you know, Andre Berto was able to take Floyd's punches, and he was quite relentless at coming at Floyd. But this technique keeps Andre Berto off balance. And Floyd waits for Andre Berto to want to attack him and stabs him to the pit. And the thing about going to the body like that is now you can mix up your jabs. You can jab to the body or you can jab to the head. So your opponent doesn't know what you're going to do next. You can feint a jab as if you're going to go to the head and go to the body. Or you can feint a jab as if you're going to go to the body and go to the head. So you can mix up now your head and body punches, and then you can throw in things like hooks off the jab. So now you can actually feint the jab as if you're going to go to the head and go with a left hook to the body. Or you can feint a jab as if you're going to go to the head and then throw a left hook off the jab around the guard. Or you can feint the jab as if you're going to go to the head and throw a left hook to the body. Or you can feint a jab as if you're going to go to the body and then you throw a left hook to the head. So I mean, you could feint the jab as if you're going to go to the body or the head and then throw an overhand right. You can actually now start to build up offense. Now, what you have to understand with Floyd Mayweather, and this is something I hope fans of boxing and as well the young boxers coming up will understand. Floyd Mayweather is always looking to engage. If you're looking to escape your opponent or run away from your opponent, you're going to suffer serious damage. And that's a problem a lot of boxers don't understand. Mayweather sets traps. They're very controlled. Mayweather can bang with you, but he's not going to waste his time banging with you. He's going to instead, because he's not afraid of his opponent. He can go toe-to-toe with his opponent. Okay? But he's looking for ways to set up his opponent, and he's always looking for a way to get at you. And that's an attitude you have to have. A lot of guys who are in boxing, take for instance Donaire. Donaire here is trying to create distance, but he's literally trying to stay away from Juarez right now. He's trying to keep Juarez off of him. Yes, he's trying to pick his shots. Here he twists his ankle. See, some of these punches that Donaire is about to throw, if he does, are let me stay off this guy punches, right? He's still trying to find the gaps, but he's actually trying to get some rest so he can build up himself. See, he runs away here. He's literally trying to avoid the guy right now. Floyd Mayweather, on the other hand, he's literally setting up Berto so he can hit him like this. He's trying to set him up for punches. Notice he's not trying to stay away from Berto. He's trying to keep him off balance. And then notice the jab to the pit, again an essential weapon as he changes levels to hit Berto. Catches him with an uppercut, jab to the pit, and then a right to the spleen. Jab to the pit, right to the spleen. Of course, he has much more weapons than that. His lead hand does a number of different things to make sure Berto does not hit him back. But he's engaging Berto here. There's that uppercut. That lead hand is controlling everything. So Berto cannot even respond. See how he uses the jab? Everything starts and finishes with the jab. Jab begins, gauge the distance. That was what he used the jab for there. Then the lead hand was used as a forearm to keep Berto from responding. Right there. Okay? So Mayweather's not the kind of dude who is trying to avoid contact. Contrary to popular opinion, he's actually initiating contact and he's looking to make contact, but in a manner where you are not ready for it. The idea is ambush you every single time. Here Donaire was trying to fight a fight where he needed to, right there, jab to the pit. The guy's pit is open. See? His high guard is to protect his head, but he's not studying his body. And Donaire had that all day long. He could have mixed the jab to the body. When the guy lowers his guard, throw the jab to the head. That's what Donaire should have been doing. And that would have kept Juarez off balance. Of course, timing Juarez would have also been an important thing. But instead, he got into these wars that he was not supposed to be getting into. Because as you can see, Juarez is a much bigger guy. And as a result of him being able to take Donaire's punch pretty well, Donaire needed to offset him. Another thing that Donaire wasn't doing was going weak side against him. See? Donaire stands right in front of him. You're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be weak side. And Donaire found himself against the ropes getting punished on the ropes, as you will see in a minute. When you're meeting a guy that's much bigger and he's physically strong, you have to use the jab to the pit to wear him down. You have to hit his body to wear down his body. See, Juarez has pinned him against the ropes. And a lot of young boxers, they think they know how to move like Mayweather. They think they understand Mayweather's defense. Look how much punishment he takes to the head there. He slips a lot of the punches, but he's still getting hit to the head. Pretty bad. And the reason that has happened is because, once again, look at this. He's got his guard up, countered it with a beautiful left hook. But again, a lot of these guys, they think it's easy what Mayweather's doing. But you see him here, he's squared up against the ropes. He's at a 90-degree angle to Juarez. Juarez is just teeing off. He's not hitting him all the time. A lot of the punches are missing, but still he's standing right in front of him, squared up in the peekaboo stance. Okay? And that doesn't really work. He changes levels a little bit. Alright. So here, first and foremost, you have to see the feint that Floyd Mayweather did. He did as if he was going to slide into Marcos Maidana. Marcos Maidana decided, I'm going to land an overhand right on you. Then Mayweather moved back so Marcos Maidana couldn't throw the punch anymore to hit him on the top of the head. And he instead came up with an uppercut, a right uppercut. And then he caught the punch on the side of his body. But there's a lot of things that the casual fan will not see, and even a boxer may not notice. So I'm going to just describe these things for you by you looking at these stills here. Here's Mayweather versus Pacquiao. And because this is a two-dimensional picture, you may not have grasped a number of different things here that this stance that Mayweather has right now, which is called the collapsible stance or side-on stance, entails. First of all, Mayweather is not lined up with the ropes. None of the ropes. His lead foot is actually away from both ropes towards the center of the ring. His head is far away from his lead foot, way back against the ropes. So Floyd Mayweather, in this defensive stance, is actually, his head is very far away from Manny Pacquiao, and his lead foot prevents Manny Pacquiao from coming straight in on him. That's the inbuilt defense. What I'm saying is, the tip of his foot here is close to Manny Pacquiao, but his head is far away from him.